Broadway's biggest stars and shows are right here on The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal, so let's get going. Vanderpump Rules star Ariana Madix is razzle-dazzling right now on Broadway. Fresh off her stint on Dancing with the Stars, Ariana is taking on the role of Roxie Hart in Chicago.
There's so many really cool things about Roxie. I think one of the things that I really connect with, that I love, is that she's always thinking on her feet. And when everyone's counted her out, or you think that it's over for her, she will always find a way to pull herself back up. And that is something that I just absolutely adore about her. What is so cool about Roxie, and how many iterations there have been of Roxie, is that everyone has their Roxie. And I'm really excited to find and connect with who is the Ariana Roxie. I'm actually in a place where I will feel prepared. I feel like I'm in a place where I know what I'm capable of, and I know that it's something that I can handle. I think that if it was something as badly as I wanted it years and years ago, I don't know that I would have been prepared to step into the world.
Cynthia Nixon comes back to the New York City stage in the 7-year disappear. She has got a lot going on right now, both on stage and on screen. I had a chance to catch up with Cynthia at New York City's Algonquin Hotel. So let's just jump in and talk, because I'm excited to have you here, and I feel like you have so many different projects going on. And I don't know which one to go to first, so I'm going to go to the 7-year disappear first.
Okay, great.
Because I feel like there's a lot to talk about with that, and there's kind of a fun personal story behind it, since you've been gone for 7 years.
I know it. We were doing a little workshop of it a few months ago, and I realized, oh, it's been 7 years since I've been on stage, and it's about a person who disappears for 7 years, like I have from the stage. But it's so weird for me because, I mean, it's just been the pandemic and then other things, and I can't remember another time in my life when I haven't been on stage for 7 years. It feels really strange.
What brought you back to the stage for this particular play?
I guess just the play itself is fascinating to me, and particularly the character or characters, I guess I would say. I play like a world-famous performance artist. The other actor is the amazing Taylor Trench, who's playing my son. When the play begins, I have a new piece that's going to be going on at MoMA, and he presents it, and I'm not there, and I disappear for 7 years. And we see, you know, he and I'm a single mom, and he's my gay son, and we're incredibly close. He's also my, my manager and my booker and my best friend. And so he goes into total free fall and goes through a series of crises in my absence, and also my unexplained absence, like where did I go and why did I go? But I also then play all the people in his life in that interim. There's the main character, who's Miriam, and then the 7 other people that I play.
So 8?
So 8 total.
Oh, just 8?
8 total.
There are different time periods, I guess, different people, backgrounds, just
different ages, genders, ethnicities, classes, you name it.
So the audience, when I'm in the audience, I go, how in the world did she do all that? And I know that that's all part of the profession and your talent, but that's a lot all in one, a span of an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah. There are 2 main tricks about doing an accent that isn't your own. One is to do it well.
Yes.
But equally important to that, I think, is to not have it overwhelm you and overwhelm the character and overwhelm the performance. Like, Pat Field, who did the clothes for Sex and the City. Right. I mean, she taught me so many things about fashion, but one, I would say if I had to boil it all down to one, it was like, wear the clothes that show you off. You're not there to show the clothes off, the clothes are there to show you off. And so, same thing about an accent, right? If the accent is the headline, then you're really in trouble.
Then you're not.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Comedian Eddie Izzard is back on the New York City stage this winter in Shakespeare's Hamlet. This follows last year's run in Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. This time, Eddie's playing all 23 characters in this adaptation of Hamlet.
I'm happy to do it on my own. I'm quite happy up there to play these different characters by spinning myself around and talking to make these characters be different, so that when I am Ophelia, when I am Hamlet, Gertrude, Claudius, that people should be going, that's okay, that's what Gloria says. Gloria is, and the voice change, the physicality changes in Hamlet is more like myself and Ophelia. Need to be honorable to the female characters as well as the male characters. As a gender fluid person, trying to give honor to both sexes without pushing too far. People will come and they will make their judgments about what I have done. But the weird thing for me was when I started reading Hamlet's lines and in the rehearsals and going forward and learning them as well, it felt very at home.
A Broadway mainstay is opening up about his ALS diagnosis. Aaron Lazar just recently revealed he was diagnosed 2 years ago with the disease. A veteran of some 9 Broadway shows, including Les Mis, The Light in the Piazza, and The Last Ship, Aaron is meeting this diagnosis with positivity, love, and healing. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
This is the Susan Rose Archives of Carnegie Hall. This is history is archived in this room.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate to play Carnegie Hall a couple times and never knew about this place.
There's a lot of history.
A little bit of history.
As you know, I mean, I'm looking at photos of Maria Callas, Celia Cruz.
Sinatra.
Yes, I think the Rolling Stones are back there and Bob Dylan's back there. I mean, it's crazy, the history.
Pretty cool.
Are you a person who can sort of soak in history and being a part of history? And
all I can think is that I hated history in high school. I don't know why. Hated it so much, I opted out of it in college. You could opt out of one subject, maybe the dumbest thing I've ever done, because actors need our history and research roles and stuff. And now I kind of love history. And now I'm like, wait, should I be nervous that I'm performing on stage at Carnegie Hall where all these people perform?
I've been hearing you talk a lot recently about sort of taking in the moments of life, right? Living in the present.
Yeah.
And I think that moments like this, you know, I think when you're on a career trajectory, you're sort of like just checking off things all the time, right?
Yeah. I definitely was guilty of that, you know, like, how do I get to the next bullet point on the Wikipedia page? Because this business, this industry, especially if you have a family, it's like, every job comes to an end, right? And I guess in my case, the Broadway shows that I've been in, they've been amazing, but not too many long runs. So it's like, I gotta get the next job, and what's next? And then sometimes you miss the moment.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning how to not miss so many of them. And now it's kind of like full circle for me, where I'm like, it's actually beautiful. We don't know anything, so if I can embrace the unknown of it all, the unknown Carnegie Hall of it all, and just live in it. That's what I'm trying to do. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow.
A little over 2 years ago, you were diagnosed with ALS. Knowing that you're someone so focused on trying to make things and do things, was it actually finding that out maybe gave you some sort of direction or clarity?
Maybe, because everything changed on the diagnosis. I spent all that time really afraid. And then at diagnosis, I kind of went, well, for whatever life I got left, I don't want to be afraid. To be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. In thinking about how do I share this with people, I thought, well, my new impossible dream is to beat this. And then I realized there's nothing to beat. It's not a fight. It's not, I don't want to meet this with any kind of resistance. I want to meet it with ease and joy and healing. So my impossible dream is possible. I mean, it's just to heal. It's to heal, not just the physical, but my whole self. It's one of those moments where you just go, wow, I had no idea 23 years ago what this song would become in my life, but I'm really grateful for it, and I hope that it speaks to people. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.
We're celebrating another huge opening night on Broadway. The new musical, Days of Wine and Roses, starring two of Broadway's greatest, Kelli O'Hara and Brian Darcy James. It's based on a 1958 teleplay and a 1962 film about a marriage destroyed by alcoholism. We hit the red carpet with the stars on opening night.
It's important that we have art that is used to make sense of things that are hard. It is what art was founded on. It's what created it in the first place. And we must continue to do that, and the risks that people took to get this here in order for that to happen, because there are many, many people in our society, we're all connected to them, who are struggling, and it's a good thing to have conversations about these things.
I feel very beholden to say that I'm play acting when I do this. I'm inhabiting a character and telling a story, and I'm not really going through this in reality, and there are so many people whose lives are devastated, and it's horrifying what people have to deal with, whether it's their own journey or if they're on the periphery of it. I'm very, very aware of that. And what I hope that they experience, people that come see this story, is the fact that we're doing this in a way that honors that complex, arduous thing, and do it in a way that makes people feel like this is a story worth telling.
Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Tell me your first experience with Days of Wine and Roses.
I'm sure I saw the movie. I remember being terrified by thinking, what? My parents drink, all their friends drink, they're having fun. So that might have been one of my first glimpses of, oh, where can this go?
Tell me what first sparked the idea of turning Days of Wine and Roses into a musical.
Well, I saw the movie of Days of Wine and Roses many, many years ago, and I think I cried. I mean, I think it was so beautifully done and so human. It just got to me and stuck with me. And then I spoke to Kelli O'Hara 20 years ago, or a little more, about the movie, and we both thought it could be something for her. I always felt that she looked like Leah Remick, or even better, and she sang like, even then, like Teresa Stratas, or even better. But it was a notion. If that inner sort of energy for something doesn't remain and doesn't continue to sort of chime inside of you, then it's okay to let it go. But if it keeps going, you should really seize it and try to figure out why, you know?
I always wanted so.
So what about this material made you think it could sing?
The howl of the circumstances, the howl of the way those two people feel for each other. They really fall in love. How powerful the sort of contradictory scream, even, for something that, for both of them, only alcohol could really satisfy, until it didn't work anymore. This is about the human struggle. I think in one way or another, we all deal with these same things. In one degree or another, we all behave in ways that are long-term mistakes. We have habits, we have tendencies, and we have weaknesses. Music suits all of that. To justify singing, you have to have that kind of compression, that kind of need.
When I was watching it, I liked how you included the audience. We went on the ride with them. We saw the buzzy, buoyant, fun time of it, which is why it feels so upsetting when it's not fun anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they would mind my sharing. You know, my happy, joyous, and free parents who were smart and loving and did not come from money. They were really people who wanted to come up in the world and do better, and they gave me everything. I was loved in a way that I would never be able to give back or thank. They started breaking limbs and crashing cars. You know, and I was still a young teen when friends stormed out and never came back. I witnessed this. I didn't necessarily understand it right away or link it exclusively to the substances. As a child of alcoholics, often the child becomes the person who sort of believes in the family and is going to hold it together and is helping hide what's happening to everyone else. We also didn't feel in this era it was important to go into the nuts and bolts of the recovery work, which most people are in some way familiar now. There have been so many films and plays and life stories around that kind of work. And the story didn't require it.
Hi, I'm Cesar Samayoa, and this week on The Broadway Show, I'm taking you backstage to my Broadway show, How to Dance in Ohio. So here we are backstage at the beautiful Belasco Theater, which I think is probably the most gorgeous theater on Broadway, and they say it's haunted. So here's a little shrine to David Belasco, who they say kind of roams the building, the stage, and the front of house, and maybe we'll see him. I don't know. So one of the most beautiful things about our show, How to Dance in Ohio, is that accessibility always comes first. And we have beautiful things all around the theater pertaining to that, including baskets full of fidgets and fidget spinners and all kinds of things that you may need, if you're going through it a little bit. So here we are still backstage, but if we go front of house through this door, another incredible feature are cool down spaces that the Belasco has, that How to Dance in Ohio has, for our audience members that need to take maybe a little bit of time out or need to get away from what's happening front of house and get to chill out here. By the way, this cool down space is available to you at any time during the show. Mid-show, if you're feeling overwhelmed, please come down here. You'll be able to hear the show. And we also have these beautiful sensory bags to borrow. They have headphones, they have sunglasses, they have fidget spinners, anything you may need to help you get through the show and enjoy How to Dance in Ohio. We're entering the danger zone. We just climbed about five flights, and here we are on what could be the haunted floor at the Belasco Theater. It looks freaky to me, but here's a sneak peek. Not many people get to see this. Okay, so if you ask me, this is definitely haunted. And sometimes they say that people can hear furniture moving up here, or they hear footsteps happening. Sometimes they see David Belasco in the balcony of the theater watching the show, and if you see that, you're a hit. So I have a surprise. I have two of our stars of How to Dance in Ohio, Liam Pierce and Connor. Hello. All right, we have two Broadway debuts here. Yeah. Feelings?
It's great, so good. Being here, it's a good time, yeah. Referring to our lyrics in the show, excited and anxious, but in the best way possible.
Thank you so much for joining our tour of the Belasco Theater and How to Dance in Ohio on Broadway, but I got a dance to get ready for, so bye.
This Black History Month, we're highlighting some of Broadway's most influential Black artists, starting this week with Tony and Grammy Award winner Leslie Odom Jr. A true artistic prodigy, Leslie made his Broadway debut in Rent at only 17 years old. He cemented himself as a Broadway legend with his Tony-winning performance as Aaron Burr in Hamilton. More recently, on the heels of his Oscar nomination for One Night in Miami, Leslie's back on the Broadway stage in the revival of Ossie Davis's Hurley Victorious. The show's gravity is reflected in Leslie's electrifying performance, drawing audiences from far and wide to witness his celebration of Black history on Broadway. Both on and off stage, you can find Leslie using his platform to amplify Black voices and make space for community. Leslie Odom Jr., actor, producer, artist, and keeper of culture. Catch Hurley Victorious before it ends its acclaimed run this weekend at the Music Box Theater. Beautiful Noise, a Neil Diamond musical, has a new leading lady. Amber Ardolino plays Marcia Murphy. She's doing a new vlog for us over at Broadway.com.
I'm taking over the Broadway vlogs for the next several weeks. I play Marcia in A Beautiful Noise on Broadway, so let's go inside. Let's go meet the cast.
Where it began.
And that's going to do it for us. For tickets, though, or if you want an extended cut of all these interviews, you can head over to Broadway.com. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.